Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is January 9th, 2019, the 19th day of the government shutdown. We often start with this day in history. Turns out this day in history wasn't so exciting. We'll look at something that did happen, memorable from this day in history at the end of today's podcast. But just minutes before the show, somebody sent me this clip. And I thought this would be interesting to talk about. Every day we break down the English language, the numerical sequence behind the words, and we see the riddles in media and government and sports day after day. And this article sent to me here reminded of being a child in elementary school and asking my teachers questions about why certain words were spelled certain ways and why words with the same spelling were pronounced different ways. And my teachers just never had the answers. They just say, well, it's just the way the English language is. And as a child, that was frustrating for me. I wanted things to make sense. You know, learning how to spell the number 4, F-U-O-R, the number 14, F-O-U-R-T-E-E-N. And then all of a sudden 40, you leave the U out. That stuff just drove me nuts as a child. It doesn't make any sense. How can it be? Well, you learn gematria and you start to see, the words are contrived a certain way so that they have this numerical rhyme and reason. Well, look at this article here. Why English is so hard to learn. And I imagine this is probably small on your screen. I'm sorry, this is as big as it'll let me make it. It's maxed out. I can read it with my own eyes. So I will just read clearly and slowly and explain what stands out about each sentence. So again, the article is Why English is So Hard to Learn by Marlene Davis. She capitalizes the word you, all in caps. You think English is easy. Check out the following. Number 1, the sentence reads, the bandage was wound around the wound. And the point she's making there is how we say the word wound and word wound. They're spelled the exact same, but they're pronounced differently. Wound, wound. Sentence 2, the farm was cultivated to produce produce. 2 words, pronounced the same, spelled the same, but different meaning. To produce the produce. Sentence 3, the dump was so full that the workers had to refuse more refuse. Again, 2 words, same spelling, different pronunciation. Sentence 4, we must polish the Polish furniture shown at the store. We must polish the Polish furniture shown at the store. Polish and Polish, spelled the exact same way. Sentence 5, he could lead if he would get the lead out. He could lead if he would get the lead out. Or maybe it's, I guess another way it could be is he could lead if he would get the lead out. There's so many English words, same spelling, different pronunciation. 6, the soldier decided to desert his tasty dessert in the desert. And I think everyone gets that one. Dessert and desert spelled the same way, pronounced slightly different. Since there is no time like the present, he thought it was time to present the present to his girlfriend. Since there is no time like the present, he thought it was time to present the present to his girlfriend. The present, the right now, the present, the gift. A bass was painted on the head of the bass drum. Oh, a bass was painted on the head of the bass. A bass was painted on the head of the bass drum. Bass like a fish, bass like an instrument. When shot at, the dove dove into the bushes. Dove and dove, same spelling. I did not object to the object which he showed me. I did not object to the object which he showed me. Again, same spelling, different pronunciation, different meaning. The insurance was invalid for the invalid in his hospital bed. Invalid, invalid. Same spelling, different pronunciation, different meaning. There was a row among the oarsmen about who would row. Row and row. Pronounced the same, different meaning. Spelled the same. They were too close to the door to close it. Close, close. Same spelling, different meaning. Different pronunciation. The buck does funny things when the does are present, the female deer. The buck does funny things when the does are present. Does and does, same spelling. A seamstress and a sower a seamstress and a sower fell down into a sewer line. Sower, sewer, same spelling. To help the planting, the farmer taught his sow to sow. To help with planting, the farmer taught his sow to sow. Again. The wind was too strong to wind the sail around the mast. Wind and wind, same spelling. Upon seeing the tear in her painting, she shed a tear. Tear and tear, same spelling. I had to subject the subject to a series of tests. Subject, subject, same spelling. How can I intimate this to my most intimate friend? Intimate, intimate, same spelling. These are brilliant. Homonyms or homographs are words of like spelling but with more than one meaning and sound. When pronounced differently, they are known as heteronyms. But yeah, very good example of, the strange things about English. So, thought that'd be interesting to think about today. Appreciate the person who sent that to me. Where did my seem to have lost my post that's supposed to be there though. One moment, apologies, here we go. So last night I actually did a live stream on this and I don't know where my video went. My video seems to have vanished. I didn't get a strike, at least not in my mail. I didn't notice any strikes on my account, but a video was gone. Last night I covered the coincidence of Donald Trump's speech on the border and the border wall concluding at 9:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, local to where the president was. Of course, Donald Trump was announced as the 45th president-elect on a date that can be written 9/11, November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. And if you did miss the speech, it did end at 9:11 sharp. I just caught that watching it live. I said, go figure. They ended at 9/11, of course. As we talked about yesterday, had the 48 date numerology, the day of the speech, wall equals 48, Donald Trump 48. These patterns that have persisted all throughout his speech, or all throughout his presidency, even running for the office. So just one more time, a reminder, the Berlin Wall fell November 9th, 1989. In Gematria, Berlin Wall equals 45. The word ritual has a gematria of 27 and 45. From 1989 to 2016, the day he became president-elect, 27 years later, ritual 27, ritual 45, number 45, Berlin Wall 45. And don't forget, Donald Trump is the man who did the Serta mattresses commercial in 2009, concluding the speech by talking to Digital Sheep number 9, saying, "Looking good, number 9, looking good." And when you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. The commercial has 2 sheep on pillars, 11 and 9, reminiscent of the 2 pillars or towers that fell on September 11th. Again, if you've never seen this Serta mattress ad, you should definitely check it out. Commercial ends with this sheep saying, "Where is your dignity?" Donald Trump wearing the same suit and tie he wore for an election night. And of course, in Jewish gematria, Donald equals 119, or 911 in reverse, at the time the speech ended. Again, he ran during the time of the hit show House of Cards, where the president is Francis Underwood. Donald Trump, Trump card, House of Cards. House of Cards has the same gematria as Make America Great Again. But Francis and Underwood, both 119. Reminds that Donald Trump was in Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day, where Star of David, Orthodox, Ashkenazi Jews, all seeing eye, all 119. Donald Trump at the Western Wall on Jerusalem Day, where they plan to build the third temple, along with his daughter and wife and Jared Kushner. Also in Trump's speech last night, if you listened, you might have caught where he said the situation could be resolved in a 45-minute meeting. As another reminder, Berlin Wall 45, when you flip the alphabetic order around, Berlin Wall is 63, which matters because 2016 is the 63rd triangular number, the year Donald Trump became president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the wall. And Serta, who he did the mattress commercial for, sheep, sleeping, think about it. You got to be a sheep asleep to not see what's going on in this nation. And, case in point, today, the day after the speech, today, a date that can be written 9/1/19, 911, 119 in the date. Donald Trump comes out and gives a threat about FEMA and its funds that are going out to California for the wildfires. He's saying a lot of money's being wasted. It could be spent on the wall. He's threatening to stop the FEMA aid for the fire destruction in California, provoking a group of people and obviously provoking a state that's very democratic, right? Everyone always forgets Donald Trump was a Democrat for almost his entire life, just like Ronald Reagan. 2 men that ran on similar campaigns, 2 men that are both involved in Hollywood. But from the date of the fire, well, there were several fires, but the most remembered, November 8th, which was also the date of the election in 2016. Donald Trump was announced as the president-elect early November 9th. But from November 8th to his threat today, 63 days. What do you know? Also 9 weeks, 45, the 9th triangular number. Plus it's the 9th. And again, Wall Street's in a roller coaster right now, up and down, up and down. Wall Street has the gematria 63. Think about the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Donald Trump, Mr. Bankruptcy. His father gave him, who knows how much money, tens of millions of dollars when he was, the time he received it is, hundreds of millions in today's money with inflation rates. But Wall Street also 63. We talked a lot in October about the market and the history of this number, big collapses in connection to 63. Donald Trump, Humpty Dumpty. In case you forget, he had his convention in Quicken Loans Arena, which at the time was running a commercial of Humpty Dumpty falling off the wall. Humpty Dumpty equals 58, like Donald Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. So, By the way, mainstream Judaism, rabbinic Judaism, what goes by the Talmud, it equals 63. Donald Trump at the wall in Jerusalem Day. Donald Trump routinely talking about how we should have a wall just like Israel. Don't forget, you can't spell Jerusalem without a USA right in the middle. And the only nation that has more Jews than Israel in the world is the United States. Also, with regards to the Berlin Wall and Trump, Berlin Wall construction began August 13th, a date that can be written 13/8 like 138. Donald Trump equals 138 with the alphabetic order. Think about how perfect that is. How scripted it all can be. And as another reminder, from the day that construction began, August 13th, 1961, to the day JFK was assassinated in 63, Berlin Wall 63, it was 831 days later. 138 in reverse. And remember, one of JFK's final speeches was at the site of the Berlin Wall before his assassination. Also, when Donald Trump went to Mexico to meet about them having build the wall, he did that on August 31st, a date that can be written 8/31. Don't forget they compared Melania Trump to Jackie Kennedy. Melania was the first woman to wear baby blue on Inauguration Day since Jackie Kennedy. Donald Trump does not finish his presidency. He will join Richard Nixon, who he's been compared to, and JFK in not finishing his term. Another story today, we have the death of a woman, Christy Myrick, in 1992, and the story of her murderer, DJ Freeze, just having to appear in court for the killing, and he admitted to the killing and he apologized. I just thought it was so interesting that this woman who we're hearing about, her name has this gematria 67 and 86. The first word in the headline, killer, nabbed. The word killer with the alphabetic order is 67. Supposedly the killer killed Christy Myrick, and the killer went by the nickname DJ Freeze. He was a DJ, obviously, but that nickname, DJ Freeze, 7438, 115, killing 7438, 115, overlap with Masonic and killing in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. Interesting how these stories that always make the headlines are encoded with the routine numbers. Never fails. And the killer's actual name is Raymond Rowe. Surprised they didn't refer to him as Ray, because Ray has the gematria 44 like kill. But he appeared in court yesterday, January 8th, 1-8, like 18. Raymond Rowe equals 61, the 18th prime. And then Rowe alone, which is the alphabetic order, 61, also the 18th prime. Raymond Rowe on January 8th. And then, of course, Christy Myrick, 67, the 19th prime. The story comes at the beginning of 2019. Like I said, I expect to see more 67 this year than in most years because of the relationship. Just such a powerful number combination there. R. Kelly, to a not so good start in 2019. The TV show comes out shaming him. Then on his birthday, he gets an investigation opened up against him. Happy birthday, R. Kelly. And then today, the day after that, his birthday was yesterday, January 8th. Today, January 9th, CNN has learned an arrest warrant was issued over the summer for R. Kelly's former manager, James Mason. After Mason was accused of threatening to kill the father of Jocelyn Savage, one of the women featured in Surviving R. Kelly. Get this, the incident for James Mason which allegedly took place in May Mason 2018, was reported by Timothy Savage to Henry County Police. Savage claims his daughter is being held against her will by R. Kelly and Mason threatened him for speaking out about it. And they say Mason is guilty of terroristic threats and acts. You know. Again, in case you missed the video I put out last night, just as one more reminder, this comes on R. Kelly's birthday. R. Kelly's a black man, 42, always used in the racial shaming of black men. Birthday equals 42. The show that opened this investigation, again, is called Surviving R. Kelly. The 181st prime number is what Surviving R. Kelly sums to 181. 181 is the 42nd prime number. And this show also came out 5 days before his birthday. 5, the number that has the Gematria 42 as well. You know, they couldn't have lined it up any better. So, no doubt, racial shaming by the numbers. I noticed CNN today, they had this top story, live updates, 5 events to watch on shutdown's 19th day. And I haven't seen CNN put up a headline like this calling attention to what day of the shutdown it was until today. And keep in mind, today's January 9th, 1/9, like 19, and we're in the year 2019. So we'll see what emerges. So far today, it's been a relatively slow news cycle. They're just talking about Trump's speech last night. Last evening, another headline emerged. The U.S.-China tech war is getting worse. Apple is paying the price. See where this goes. You know, they're building these narratives, things that could really hurt the economy in the days ahead, things that could really stifle global relations towards major trade nations in the days, months ahead. Anyhow, CNN put out this story January 8th, 1/8, and it's about the tech war. Notice the word tech in 2 of the 4 base ciphers, 18. So, somebody yesterday asked if I could go back and look at this story. I actually hadn't even heard about it. American man first to solo across Antarctica unaided. And popped open the article, and I started reading, and I noticed right away it was an Oregon man from Portland, Colin O'Brady. And as I read ahead, I said, you got to be kidding me. The guy's 33 years old from Oregon, the 33rd state. Okay, you know, could be possible. But the other thing that was really jumping out at me about this story is that it took 54 days and covered 930 miles. We're always talking about this relationship between 54 and 93. If you write out the word sun with the alphabetic order, S-U-N, S is the 19th letter, use the 21st, ends the 14th, sun's 54. And they say the sun's 93 million miles away. And what makes Antarctica so cold? You know, its position relative to the sun. They also say Saturn, the only planet that sums to 93 in Gematria, you get your best view of Saturn every 54 weeks. It's on this cycle where every 54 weeks you have the most clear view of Saturn from Earth. And anyhow, we see these numbers coded together again and again and again. Aleister Crowley had the occult religion Thelema, where they worship the number 93. The number 93 symbolized love. The word love with the alphabetic order and the reverse alphabetic order sums to 54 in English. In Thelema, love is symbolized by 93. So it's a number that comes together again and again and again. Oregon happens to be a state that was established on Valentine's Day. Speaking of love, February 14th, 1859, a date with 93 numerology. You know, Nike's headquartered there, the most famous corporation in Oregon. Their symbol is the swoosh or a ring of Saturn. So, just right away, just looking at 54 days, 930 miles. You'd have to travel nearly 20 miles a day to accomplish that. And they said this guy was a performance athlete. So if it was really done, it's incredibly impressive. I mean, freezing cold place, limited resources, nearly 20 miles a day, 54 days straight. If you break it down, it's actually just over 17 miles a day, which is interesting because L equals 17. And what is L? L is Saturn in the Bible. So this man from the 33rd state, who's 33 years old, had this very numerology-based accomplishment. He said, while the last 32 hours were some of the most challenging hours of my life, they have quite honestly been some of the best moments I've ever experienced. And if it's true, I mean, it is amazing. First person to ever do it. So the reporting is just seemingly a little too perfect. November 18th was a really rough day. That's the 322nd day of the year. And the other thing is, he began this journey on November 3rd. November 3rd, 113. It just makes you wonder, really, on 113, huh? It concluded it on December 26th, just after Saturnalia, just after Christmas. The name Colin, his name's Colin. Colin has the Gematria 26. So does Saturn in the Septenary cipher. So somebody wanted me to tell him if I could tell if the story was real or not. Tell you what, I can't tell you if it's real or not, but it's very suspicious. It's very suspicious. Also, last night I put out a quick video on this, just in case you missed it. Bernice Sandler, the godmother of Title IX, or Title IX, 9 in Roman numerals, dies at 90. And again, look at every headline. Godmother of Title IX. Godmother of Title IX. Godmother of Title IX. Remember, I just called the Washington Post. Jeff Lean to talk about this code of murder by numbers. He didn't want to hear about it. But godmother of Title IX equals 90. She's dead at 90. What's the numerology of 90? It's 9 plus 0 is 9, Title IX. And then worse yet, January 5th, the day she died, January 5th, 2019, date with 45 numerology. Title IX equals 45. When you add 1 through 9 together, it's 45. Could she have died on a more perfect date? And that accomplishment was in 72. So that means she's coming up on the 47-year anniversary. It was probably 46 years and change. And what do we know about 46? The sacrifice number. So the name Sandler carries that gematria 73, the sacrifice number too. No one will ever question these deaths. 90 years old, most people think how fortunate to live that long. Also, put out a quick video on this last night, just following up on the Jasmine Barnes story in case you missed this. Jasmine Barnes, they have the latest killer. His name's Larry Woodruff, 187, like the homicide code. And if you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, Larry Woodruff sums to 79, just like murder. And you might recall the other man blamed is Eric Black Jr., who was pulled over for not using his turn signal. Eric Black Jr., 79, when you flip the alphabetic order around. These are the two men responsible for the murder, supposedly, of Jasmine Barnes. Eric Black Jr. appeared in court January 7th, 2019, the date with 47 numerology. What are the odds? Again, the story looked very contrived from the beginning. It began on December 30th, had all the typical numbers we see coded in the racial shaming. That's what this story does, Black men killing a little black girl needlessly. All sorts of people in this nation, they have all these ideas programmed into their mind. Oh, black people are so dangerous. They just kill each other. They're just drug addicts. They're sexual abusers. You know? And this is why, because they get all their information from the media. The media is their mind. The media is the brain of the average American. The average American does not think for themselves. They just regurgitate the programming that's given to them every single day. I've recognized this since I was young. If only I had known then that it was all being coded like a computer program. You know? The name Larry Woodruff, it also encodes the 74, just like Larry's 74, big killing number. So, and the 113, again, the number of mainstream deception. In the world of sports, it was pointed out that Trevor Lawrence, who wears the number 16 and plays for the Clemson Tigers, became the first player in 33 years to win the college football championship as a true freshman. Notice Tigers and 1633. Wish I'd known about that stat before the big game. That would have been a tell. Again, when you write out 16, it also has the gematria of 93, and the game was 93 days after his birthday. On a date with 47 numerology, the time number, 93, the Saturn number, the keeper of time. So, on this day in history, I was looking through the list, and there was nothing really too exciting. But there's a story a lot of people don't know about or have forgotten. On January 9th, supposedly people came into a restaurant and they realized everyone was dead there. And it was reported that everybody had been killed the day prior, January 8th. But the scene was discovered January 9th. It's known as the Browns Chicken Massacre. It's happened in 93. Notice Chicken Massacre in Gematria, 93. The date of the killing, January 8th, could be written 8/1, 81 big ritual numbers. You see these ritual murders again and again. The Gematria Browns Chicken Massacre, just using the alphabetic order, is 223. 223. The 88 stands out too because the coordinates of where this happened in Palatine, Illinois, on the 88th meridian, also the 42nd parallel. Think about it, a chicken joint getting shot up on the 42nd parallel. The stereotype, you know the stereotype. I don't even got to repeat it. The gematria, the location also sums to 102, 42 and 102, coded in the word slavery, the N-word. So anyway, that was this day in history. The Browns Chicken Massacre, the old 223. And see if anything else is going on. It's been a slow day, so there's not a lot to talk about. Trump walks out a shutdown meeting. Again, my speculation is that this makes it to at least 24 days, possibly 25. And again, Wall has the gematria 24. Trump has the gematria 25. So does time. The record government shutdown is 21 days. So have to go for 2 more days to break the record. Yeah, I mean, just look how slow the news cycle is. They're still talking about this as one of the top stories. We covered this yesterday. The news anchor who pronounced Martin Luther King in a funny way. People said it sounded like coon. This headline wasn't here when I started this. NBA star scores 43 points, but only dribbles 4 times. Okay, so it must all been catch and shoot. That's what Klay Thompson does. If you missed the video earlier this year, Klay Thompson's, I'll just show you this in case you missed this. Klay Thompson's another son of a former basketball star, Michael Thompson. I forget how Michael spells his name, so with a Y. Let me see. See if I can find this there. Forget what day this was, but Klay Thompson set this record earlier this year that was a big tribute to his father. This is it. October 29, 2018. Klay Thompson breaks NBA record with 14 three-pointers in a single game. And pointed out when you write out 14, it sums to 41 like Golden State. And Klay Thompson scored 52 points in the game. His father's he scored 52 points. Klay Thompson's 52. His father's name is Michael George Thompson, equaling 239, the 52nd prime. So 52 points. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, buddy? We're not on the live stream, are we?
We're on the live stream.
Okay, well, I'm not going to talk to you about it on the live stream.
Okay.
I'll call you in about an hour. How about that?
All right, sounds good. Later, man. Every day from 1 to 2. All right, here we go. But, Klay Thompson, look at his birthday. February 8th, 8/2, like the 82 game NBA season, Pro Basketball 82. His full name, Klay Alexander Thompson, equals 314. His teammate, Steph Curry, born on Pi Day, March 14th, the 73rd day of the year. The word number 73, pi, the infamous number. These two men, had that very scripted season where they set the NBA record of 73 wins. Steph Curry, the father of a former NBA player, Del Curry, Klay Thompson, the son of Michael Thompson, father-son league. The accomplishment came 263 days after Klay Thompson's birthday, which is the 56th prime, and Klay Thompson is also 56. They did it against the Chicago Bulls, the team that they eclipsed the win record of. Perfectly synced up with Michael Jordan's retirement when they did it. And there were 273 points scored in this game, and it came 273 days after Michael Thompson's birthday, the father of Klay Thompson. I mean, it just couldn't be any more scripted. And it's just too bad that so many people look at this and just say it's all a coincidence. For example, the No More News guy. I showed him this post, and his response in a conversation we had before we did the thing, he's like, yeah, it could all be coincidental. Oh, man. I mean, you just got to be so dumb to think this is all a coincidence. And just game after game and year after year, it's just, you got to be so dumb. I mean, he even looked at this and thought this was a coincidence. When Steph Curry and Klay Thompson set the record for three-pointers made in a season as teammates, they made 678. 678. And where do I have it at here? They also broke Michael Jordan's season win record, and they did it exactly 678 weeks after Jordan retired. 678 three-pointers, 678 weeks after Jordan retires to break his win record. And you can even go back in history. The year Michael Jordan set the win record, his 73rd game of that season was against Del Curry, the father of Steph Curry. And notice when you use the ×6 method with the alphabetic order, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, they're both 678. Kobe's last game was on that same day. Kobe retired on this day. His last game was against the Utah Jazz. It was 213 days after the death of Moses Malone in Philadelphia. Kobe played his high school basketball in Philadelphia. His father used to play out there. And Kobe was playing in the 213 area code. Moses Malone dropped dead at age 58. I'll show you this real quick. Los Angeles Lakers, 58. Kobe Bryant, 58. And the death of Moses Malone perfectly synced up. So, yeah. If you ask me, anybody who thinks this stuff's a coincidence is probably someone who's not intelligent enough to be speaking about anything. Let's see what we got here from a caller. What's up, caller?
Jack, how are you, bro?
Doing well. How are you?
Happy New Year. Hey, I called in a while ago. I'm a little crazy. I'll let you talk a little more. I sent $100 to give away some books. For all the new people, you've got to get this book. You've got to get this code. You've got to understand Gematria, whatever it is. Hey, Zach, give me a quick comment on these cue balls. What is up with these cue balls? These cue balls have good channels. They have good information, and they still talk about Q.
Well, Q is a big money-making operation, so.
I mean, but, you know, you're Humpty Dumpty. And I mean, if you haven't seen now, like Trump, you know, the fact that he knows all about 9/11, he covered up the Vegas shooting. He just looked the other way. Look at that Vegas shooting. I mean, we're at news by the numbers now. News goes away in like 48 hours. And you know, the fires, the dew weapons, there's so much shit going on. And Trump doesn't say shit. He's over there with his Humpty Dumpty wall.
Right. Right.
And, you know, I just get so frustrated, Zach, because this code, after I got red pilled back in the 90s before the internet. I was in Maui, and you know, the kind of guy that is the freak that most people don't talk to. When I would take a smoke break, I would talk to him. And then he gave me some books on the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission. And that happened to be the same year that Bill Clinton was running against Ross Perot. So you were just a little dude, right? You were just a little dude back then. But something wasn't right. Just like when 9/11 happened and you said something's not right. But even after all these years and now me, kind of being a truther kind of guy, until I got this code connects it for those that are new listening.
Right.
You've got to get this code. And for the idiot on that channel, these people that think it's coincidence are serious. I love it when you say it because it's not politically correct. But what a bunch of retards.
They are. I mean,
I have a handful of friends that have, I'm just a kook. Whatever, man. Good luck with your life.
It is pathetic. I'm in the same boat as you, man. I mean, I'm fed up too. When I was a child, I used to wonder how people could get to the point where they'd pour gasoline on themselves and light themselves on fire in protest. And I almost get it now. It's like I don't think I would ever light myself on fire after pouring gasoline on over. But it's just like, God, it's like maybe people are just at the point where they're like, what more do I have to do to get the message out and get people to wake up? But
yeah, it's crazy. Well, everyone's different. I mean, I recently befriended a guy who has something about saving the Constitution on his truck, and then he doesn't want to look at Gematria. That's just another rabbit hole. I'm like, dude, it connects everything, you idiot.
Yeah,
he's stuck on the Bible. He's stuck on the Bible. I'm like, the Bible doesn't connect the dots, man.
No, the Bible's a book of confusion, really. I mean, that's why everybody has their own interpretation of the Bible. The Bible is just, it's here from the controllers.
Yeah, I was raised a Catholic. Thank God God, I wasn't in a church with a pedophile priest, but I then went my own route, did some of the New Age kind of the mega church Christianity, and then it's just like, oh, then the pastor's up there in tears that he started banging the secretary with his wife pregnant and home, and you're like, why am I going to this church? Then the other church in Colorado makes the news, and the pastor is like a gay crack addict, and you're like, well, what good is this?
Exactly.
All right. Hey, I jump around a lot, but these are the key points I want to make today with you. I love the sports and the code in the sports, but I think that it'll push it over the top. Instead of referee birthdays and referee numbers, I've noticed more. I mean, obviously Vegas is in on this. Like the Bears game the other night, there was so much money on the Bears, they wanted all of it. They didn't want like the Bears only winning by 2 points or a field goal. They wanted the outright Philly win. And I was smelling the points with Philly. I bet some money on Philly +8. I bought a teaser, and I was fine with Philly +8. And I jumped all over Clemson with points. But the point is this. If you take Gematria and then look when the lines change on Vegas and see where the money is, then I think you'll have the pure home run.
Yeah, I think you're right about when the money shifts too much in one direction. I think you're right on about
when the line changes a point or two, that's big in Vegas. That means the money is going one way.
Right. Yeah.
So if you take Andrew Luck's Colt 45s, I mean, you nailed that game, all that, and then obviously the Philly Bears game, you called the Bears. I'm a Bears fan, Raiders fan, whatever. It could have gone either way, but in the end, it was the money. It was the money.
Yeah. You know what? And I mean, the Eagles had all of their numbers on that game for Nick Foles. I mean, it was there. I just thought they were I thought they'd want to give people that Bears-Rams rematch and the two best defensive players in the league. And anyway,
you had a ton of stuff for the Bears, though, right? The 99 was the big number. You got a guy, too, though, that I started searching for the magnetic football stuff, and then I found an interview from you like a year and a half ago, and you guys were talking about the magnets on, like, the Steph Curry baskets, and that the NBA is probably using magnetic basketball. And this stuff sounds crazy, but you can't put anything past these people. They're so greedy.
Well, I brought it up, too, before with the goalposts. I mean, it's just and they said it at the end of the Bears game. They said it's almost like the goalposts are magnetized. So
well, there's a guy, Tony, who has this thing showing the magnetic where the ball just starts going left. I mean, he nailed it dead center. Then they time out. That's common. They freeze him. And then the thing's going dead left when they put the magnet on. And then I watched a video that you referenced, and sure enough, I found it. And they show these basketballs that just stick to the rim.
Yeah. Well, I know.
You're commenting on it. It's from the summer of 2017, so it's a year and a half ago. Before I even found you.
Right, there's some weird stuff. The thing about the Bears kick is they ran the clock down to 5 seconds after they missed it. The ball hits the ground when there's still 6 seconds on the clock. They wanted 5 seconds on that clock because they pointed out that it was his 5th ball off the post, and Chicago Bears equals 55. So his fifth field goal to hit the upright in the season concludes the Chicago Bears season with 5 seconds left.
The kicker was 26 years old, and he had only made 26 field goals. He was a former Philly kicker.
He was a former. So that's huge right there, because that's the big number in Philadelphia is 26, and it was a 26 date numerology, and it's the Eagles' 26th appearance in the playoffs.
I mean, there's a guy Tony that does a clip about the magnet, and he also uses Gematria.
Don't watch his. He's the worst, though. Yeah, he's the worst.
Is he the worst?
I mean, he's the worst, man. He's just horrible. He just came out of the woodwork one day and acted like he was some Gematria guru. His percentage of picks are probably somewhere around 15% correct. He's almost wrong about every game.
His picks aren't very good. But he did put up some numbers that were like got me thinking. The 26-year-old kicker, he was stuck on his 26th attempt or so. His made field goals, his total made in the NFL is stuck now at 26.
That's funny.
So he was going for his 27th field goal.
That's funny. Yeah, and it's the Eagles' 26th.
I had no idea about Philadelphia. Philadelphia 26 and all that shit.
Well, that's how we called it. That's how we called the Eagles Patriots Super Bowl from week 3 of last season. It was all about that number. That's the flag number. That's just like how week one of this season, it was on a date with 26 numerology. I said the Eagles would win. It was all about 26. Only number 26 scored in the game. So yeah, that's a pattern we've been talking about forever. And this game
you
that
you so hooked on the Bears, though, Zach, with the 33-year leg break and the bear in the woods and Dixon. You had me thinking the Bears are going to win this whole thing.
Well, so that's the thing. The word bear equals 26 too. But I mean, I did point out that the game was 351 days after Nick Foles' birthday. That's the 26th triangular. If the Bears lost, they'd get their 19th.
Look at how close it was. It obviously could have gone either way. It was one magnet away from the Bears.
Well, so that's what that. So I predicted. I saw the end of that game, and I saw when they were going for 2, the Bears, and I said to my lady, I said, I bet you they don't convert this 2 right here. Then they'll be at 15 points,
right,
and then
so they keep it where the Bears can come down and win with the kick.
With 18, because Bears equals 18, and had they won, they would have been 18 and 18 in the playoffs.
But then, as they got the 2, they would have been the dramatic overtime playoff, which I was thinking they were going to set that up, and then he didn't. It was, they had to use replay on the 2-point conversion, so then the Bears can come down and win this thing, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on from that one, I love it though. I mean, I use your gematria. I'm not a big better. I bet 10 and 20 bucks. I hear these guys calling in, making a living off your picks. I can't do that. It's too risky for me. I can't bet $1,000 on a football game that has magnets in the football. But hey, I really believe this because I did some motivational speaking. I know you're talking about your trip. Just food for thought. I'm thinking, give it another year. You've almost hit your 10,000 books. I think you should push more for a little, book tour and make the push for the book tour and have nice 47 T-shirts. And on the book tour, promote meeting in D.C. And then there'll be more glue to it, more people, more followers, and have a nice presence. And then give everybody like a year to plan for it. Because I hear you talk about it in April. I think that's coming up too fast.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right.
And I'd be willing to help on that end of it, like coordinating your book tour, helping somehow in that, at least somewhere in the Southern California area here. And then, if you go a dozen of the major, a dozen of the top cities, maybe 12, 15. I'm sure your lady would like to go out on a book tour with you. She's not that crazy about going out to the rally, maybe. I don't know. But the book tour would be more low key.
Well, she doesn't have any free time. She all she gets is a winter break. The rest of her year is occupied. So
she'll be real busy. Anyway, you go out for 2-3 day stints. You have a little merch table with some coffee mugs and the T-shirts, and then you have a date where the first DC meeting is, let's say, either later in the fall or at the crack of next year, like on MLK is a good number. MLK President's Weekend on the DC Mall,
Yeah, that's a thought.
President's
cold then, though.
MLK's assassination or something like that, or Lincoln's memorial.
Sure. Well, the winter months are cold, though.
Huh?
People don't come out as much in the cold, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. So you wait for the spring. So that's a year away. But a book tour with an actual book, because I'm bumming. I love the ebook, but it's hard for me to read unless I have my laptop. So I haven't been able to read as much as I'd like. But every time I read, like I've read chapter 1 like twice, and it just blows me away.
Yeah.
I'm only through 2 chapters. I was going to ask you, I haven't looked in the book. Have you done, because you're going to do a new book, I think you should do a quick list of the top 100 numbers for all of us newbies, like, the 44 and 47. I'm starting to pick them up from listening to you. But it'd be cool to have a little, a 3-page book of the top 100 numbers.
Sure.
I can't remember what it was, Zach, but it was an article which you told me the quote. You said look for those quote marks, and I look at that. There was a quote mark article, and sure enough, guess what time they put that article out? 3:22.
Right.
So you look at the time stamps and the date stamps, and this stuff just starts coming together like coincidence. Are you fucking kidding me?
I know, man. It kills me that people.
I was listening to you again because I'm convinced there's something about CDC And in another broadcast, you said something about CDC, and it's 343. But what is 343?
That's the product of 7 times 7 times 7.
It's a big number, though. But there's this new kids get paralyzed, and it comes under the CDC, and there's a bunch of numbers and all the articles about it. It's only been the last few months. And you weren't talking about a specific, I was, but then I heard you talk about 343 and CDC, so I think that should be, you should try to gematria all the letter agencies for your new book, like DHS and TSA, and these ridiculous Illuminati gematria agencies, because you know that the letters are going to be in the code.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't have time to play with the calculator. I don't know it well enough, like Tony.
Well, he doesn't know it well enough either. That's why his picks are so awful.
I know. I could tell he was a goofball, but it blew me away when he showed me some of those other numbers linked to why Philly ended up winning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, for people out there who don't know, this weekend I said if you're going to bet on a game, bet on the Colts because it's a lock. I said the first Saturday we had both the games. Sunday I showed why both those games were risky because there were numbers that went both ways. The Eagles did have all their numbers from the year prior that they won the Super Bowl with. So, yeah.
Yeah, you did nail Indy, and I had like $10. I only went on Houston on the upright win because I somehow thought still that the GW41 was going to be in play because the Bushes were so connected to Houston sports. It was just a blowout. Indy had that game won by halftime.
That's Andrew Luck's town there, Houston. So
yeah, see, all that stuff really matters, and then all the other games, you nailed. I think, didn't you? Bears was a coin flip. I mean, it could have gone either way.
No, I was on the wrong side of the Chargers-Ravens game too, but I told people that was the most dangerous pick of the week because the QB win-loss records made perfect sense if the Ravens lost. But what screwed me Sunday were the ref jersey numbers. They've been good indicators in the time we've been using them, but Sunday, both ref jersey numbers went the opposite of the way it usually goes. So the refs killed me on Sunday.
It'd be easy because you do your picks at the end of the week. So if the money is moving, just throw that in at the bottom of your synopsis. Is like, oh, and by the way, food for thought, the money has moved, from the Bears to the Eagles, or the line. Sometimes the line is stuck, a 3-point line, but when it starts to move from 4, or like one weekend, Philly moved from being a 3 to a pick 'em. That's a huge move.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody saw Nick Foles coming in, so the game started out, and then when Nick Foles was getting the call, it was a few weeks ago, all the money moved from back onto Philly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's a big look. They're after the money in the end. Whether the mob is tied in with the number code or whoever the owners are, or who owns the casinos. There's a lot of offshore betting, but there's a ton of money flying around on this shit.
And when you say the mob, it's Israel. So yeah,
the Zionists.
Yeah, that's who runs the casinos. I mean, so.
Yeah, right. What's the biggest Trump donor is that guy Adelson, right?
Yeah.
He can't wait to get to his gefilte fish tonight.
Exactly. So.
Anyway, I really appreciate you. I wanted to call to let any newbies don't even hesitate to get in on this code. You'll get, keep all that Q crap at a distance, and watch the Trumpster here. This guy is a con artist, man.
Well, yeah,
this guy's probably going to do. This guy's going to go have drinks with Pelosi tonight and laugh about this crap.
Exactly. So
the pendulum is nailed, guys. Get away from all this red, blue. They want us, whoever they are, these freaks they want us all divided over nothing.
Yeah.
So at least have fun with. At least we can have fun with the sports. We're divided. Look at how crazy some of these sports fans get.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we're divided over these sports. The hardcores are divided over the sports.
They're divided over everything, man. All right, brother. I appreciate the call.
You guys are ready to come to blows over those field goals.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Good to hear your voice.
So Zach, that's food for thought on the book tour / Washington. I know you're trying to get that on the calendar. I think you should hold off and have a bigger contingency a year from now. And you know as well as I know, But you got to get that publisher. The physical book will do wonders to have it in hand.
Well, the thing about that is there's no guarantee that in a year it's going to be bigger. It could be smaller. My channel could be deleted. I could be starting all over again. It seems that when I get deleted, nobody comes back. It's like the United States amnesia. Everybody forgets.
You can have a plan for your backup channel anyway to not be so YouTube dependent. You'd be off your website. Like there's a one guy.
People only go to YouTube, man. Trust me, I know. Nobody follows anything else. So
there's the guy. What's his name? High Impact Flicks. High Impact Vlog. You're like, they shut him down overnight. And I just saw him his channel that he has no idea how he even got his channel back after.
Exactly. That tells you all you need to know right there. He's another shill, because that's the only way to get your channel back. Just like retard from Boston pulled that scam too. And I can't stand that guy's channel. Another guy that just harps on about the Clintons in every video. It's just he's total shill. So. You ever heard that guy cover Gematria? No, not at all. I just saw him there crying for.
No, you're right.
And he just went to the rescue of No More News when No More News got a strike on his channel. I mean, where has anybody stood up for me? I'm on my 18th channel, so no, he just another shill out there.
You know what's wild though, Zach? On some of the Q stuff, there's the best Q guy does use Gematria, but it's like so ridiculous.
Exactly. They make it look stupid. They tie it in with flat earth. It's just like Comedy Central had the skit about Q, and Comedy Central brought up flat earth and Gematria in the same sentence. So.
Or they say in the tweets, it's all like way over the top, you know? Like he's missing all the bread and butter and going for all this ridiculous stuff. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you got.
Here's the deal. This news. What do you think about this new thing? Like there's this new movement underneath the Q of that JFK faked his plane crash, and he's Q.
Yeah, just all the stuff they talk about is stupid. I mean, it's just why the whole Q thing is a distraction.
And we're gonna, like you said, we're gonna bring down the Clintons.
Right. Yeah, it's a joke, man. All right, brother, I got to wrap it up.
If the Clintons were going down, they would have gone down like years ago.
Right. Hey, I gotta wrap up the show, man, because I gotta be places.
Hey, thanks again, Zach. I really appreciate you, man.
All right, take care. Appreciate it too. Have a good one.
Talk to you soon.
See you, man. Yeah. So anyway, last thought, just for all you Q people out there that might end up watching this video, you really should read my book. You know. Take you a lot further than Q ever has. But there's a lot of predictive programming for the chump as president. Here he is on a purple magazine cover with a purple tie, and not by accident, just like how the Clintons came out and conceded in purple. This is from this TV show, Suddenly Susan. The episode's called I'll See That and Raise You, Susan. The episode's about Donald Trump, you know, the next president. What day did that air? May 8th. May 8th, like 5/8. Like how he's the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election, like how he announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower, yada, yada, yada. And remember what's up with purple. Purple has the gematria of 88 like Trump, and purple's also what happens when you merge red and blue, like the Democrats and Republicans, like how Donald Trump was a Democrat his whole life, till Obama was president. And then Obama joked at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you know, in 2011 about Trump being the next president. Well, guess it was more than a joke, huh? Just a little more predictive programming. And if you've never seen that 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner, go watch. They even put a little video up of it with the White House with a big neon billboard like a casino that said Trump. It's all a big joke. Remember Trump and Obama, the whole birther thing? Birther equals 44. Obama number 44. Trump's number 45, but only the 44th person to be president. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be back tomorrow. Hopefully it's a little bit busier news cycle. It's been slow now for weeks. It's kind of strange how slow the news has been. Is it like the calm before the storm? Because the news hasn't been this slow for this long, and the entire time I've been doing this research. So I do find that interesting. All right, Truth Seeker. Be back tomorrow.